This is the Imperial Garrison. What's your call sign, pilot?
It's say something. Rebel Rock Radio.
Rebel Rock Radio? There is no Rebel Rock Radio.
Well, there is now.
From the far reaches of the Outer Rim to the city planet of Coruscant, it's the podcast that gives you sweet jams and all those pop culture hits. It's Rebel Rock Radio. What it is, everybody. I hope you are ready for this episode number 137 of Rebel Rock Radio. And we are continuing our discussion on Are They Real? And this week we're focusing on ghosts in pop culture. And hopefully at the end we'll be able to answer that question, at least for ourselves, on are they real? We'll see. So I did say we because I do have a guest. You have seen him before on Rebel Rock Radio. And let's go ahead and bring him on. We have Donovan. Donovan, how are you, brother?
What's going on, man? I'm excited for this week. Oh, this is going to be awesome. How you been, wise man? How are you?
Tired, but good. Trying to get a lot of stuff done and accomplished before I head to Houston next in a couple of weeks. That should be fun. Never had surgery before, so hey, this is a first. So we'll see. They'll open up my brain and shake a stick around in there and root around and hopefully cure whatever's in there, and we'll go from there. But yeah, hey, what about you? What have you been up to?
Just been working hard. Got a secret project in the background, but other than that, doing a couple of interviews, making as many friends on the indies as I can, and experiencing a whole lot of new things. So that's what's been going on. You guys can check that out at Drop Zone Productions. That is the new channel that I am co-founder of, and we've had a lot of fun there.
Yeah. Same great content that you were providing on the other one, but you got a couple of people with you now, and they all provide great content. Drop Zone Productions. We'll have the link in our description here in a little bit. But yeah, hey, let's see who we got in the chat. Of course, Isaac first up. Early as ever. Never misses it. So we're glad that you're here, Isaac. We got Steve. Steve ain't afraid of no ghost. So that's pretty cool. That's me. We got Megan in the chat. Hey, Megan, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. There's Isaac again. Hey, we got Nicole. Hey, Miss Paul, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, all right. So I'm sure the chat will fill up here real soon. Yeah, let's we can get some housekeeping out of the way. Again, I'm still new to this format thing here, so bear with me. There they are. There's the banners. All right, so we are part of the Red 5 Network, the amazing collective of podcasting talent. You can go to our bio link. There it is, rolling around down the bottom. bio.link/red5. Again, there's over 30 pods in our group. If you're not necessarily liking what you hear here, check out somebody else. Guaranteed you'll find somebody that you like. But who doesn't love music? Who doesn't love pop culture topics like ghosts? So yeah, there we go. And of course, for our show, you can go to our bio.link/Rebel Rock Radio. There are a couple of other ways that you could support the channel. Of course, if you're listening over the airwaves and you're not on our YouTube and you're not in our live chat, come over to YouTube, check us out over there, join in with all the shenanigans. Of course, there's, you could always subscribe, you could always like, and most importantly, ring that bell. Bung. That way you get all the notifications when we go live. We also have a TeePublic store. Anytime that you want to support the channel and grab some merch, you can head over to teepublic.com/user/Rebel Rock Radio and pick up your shirts, your hoodies, your baby diapers, your coffee mugs, stickers, coasters, you name it, it's on TeePublic, and you can grab it there. And the final way that you can support us, of course, is becoming a patron. If you go to patreon.com/RebelRockPod, you can join. And where's my list? There's the list. You can join and get all sorts of cool stuff. You can get swag, not quite free t-shirts yet. Spencer, for whenever you're on and you hear this, no free t-shirts yet. Perhaps soon. You never know. But $1 a month supports our channel, allows us to do what we do, and you could join this illustrious group. Special thanks to Dave, Kelly, Chris, Don, Nicholas, Scott, Kim, Amanda, Mandy, and Justin. So thank you very much. We couldn't do this without you. And let me turn off that banner. All right, there we go. So this is Rebel Rock Radio, of course. And we are going to play our first song once I find it. All right, there we go. So our first song is from Snowcats from Amhem. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. Amhem, Netherlands. So yeah, and of course I get a spam call right when I'm looking at my phone to get all the details here. Snowcats, Amhem, Netherlands with Marie.
I write your name on this
that was Snow Coats, which I think I have the name of the song right. Marie, maybe? Steve would know. Steve kind of picked this one. Actually, he picked all of them, but he's the one that gets all the permissions for the songs that we play here. So I think that's right, according to the show notes. But yeah, I really like them. They're, again, from the Netherlands. So, yeah. So, again, Steve's not here. He's on his little hiatus. So hopefully he's resting up and getting excited for when he comes back. Quite possibly could be around Ahsoka time. So awesome. And then he confirmed that that it is Marie is the song name. Let me go back and turn off that banner. All right, so that there we go. All right, so I've decided to switch things up a little bit, similar to what I did last time, just because ghosts and pop culture is such a wide topic. And it's a topic that is near and dear to me for reasons that I'll state later. But after last week's show, Donovan's like, yo, if you got a spot, I really want to go on this show. So what's the deal, Donovan? Do you have this thing with ghosts or what?
Oh, I'm 100% a believer. I have always been one since an experience when I was little, and we'll get into that later. But man, once I saw that you guys were having ghosts, I knew I could bring the energy. This one was going to be a fun episode. There's so much to it. Whether you're a believer, you're a non-believer, just regarding television alone, just regarding one subject alone, there is so much that goes into it. And I think that people don't realize that with this much information or even these ideas, that there has to be something out there. And so once you said this was the subject, I knew I had to come on.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I love the energy. Yeah. And we'll get into lots of different types of energy here later. So the way that I kind of broke it down was, as far as pop culture goes, I figure we'll start with TV shows. And I'll let you take the pick here first on whether or not you want to cover like serial episodic shows, or if you want to cover the reality type shows. Which one do you want to cover first?
I'll go with reality. I know that you'll probably even know a lot more on that subject, but being a child and waking up early in the morning to see like the Sci-Fi Channel, them have marathons of just, ghost hunters and all of that got me more into could this be real? And then doing my own research as I got older, realizing that Ghost Hunter production was only about 30 minutes outside of Roswell in a little old hotel. So seeing these shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, you have a couple on the Travel Channel. Discoveries has gotten into it the last couple of years. Those are a lot of different examples that I give that people will tell their stories going into television. You have one, and I believe it's Paranormal Survivor that the Sci-Fi Channel came out with a few years ago, where they would talk about stories. I remember one of a woman going out for a walk near the Hollywood sign, and that turning into the dramatization alone got me as I was younger, but hearing those kind of stories always drew me to it.
Yeah. So, and I believe from my research, other than a few shows here or there that would do like Halloween episodes, whatnot, Ghost Hunters was the first around 2004. Now, Ghost Hunters, the show, is a little different than the actual Paranormal Society that it stemmed from. So Ghost Hunters came out, I don't even remember when Jay and Grant founded TAPS, But they're from Providence, Rhode Island,
Okay.
and that's where. So I got to meet and talk with them a lot. I was part of the TAPS group that went out and did investigations, and then they kind of did their own production thing off of that and created the TV show. And they took a break, and it still actually just came back on with Jay as the main guy, and Steve and Dave are the trio that do that. But yeah, that really captured a lot of people's imaginations and kind of showed what went into a paranormal investigation. There soon after was Ghost Adventurers, which is a little different type of show. They're more antagonistic and more in your face. Then from there stemmed more of like a celebrity type of Help My House is Haunted show that the Ghost Adventurers crew has done. There was Ghost Asylum. Then to me was one of the coolest ones around, and that was Paranormal State. And Paranormal State was college age kids, and they brought in a lot of science into it. Whereas like Ghost Hunters, they would explain, hey, this is an EMF detector, it does this, and then they'd use it. And they actually showed it more in use and how it works, and got into the nuts and bolts of how and why things were used there. So I really liked that one as well. During this time, did you have a favorite show that's like, oh man, this is coming on, I got to watch it?
It was Ghost Hunters that got me first, and then another show that had to deal with the paranormal was Factor Fate. Paranormal Files that came out, and they had more of a debunking to it where they got into the science of it, and then there were a few occasions where they couldn't, mostly doing with ghosts and that kind of paranormal stuff. But Ghost Hunters is what really got me into this, into realizing, okay, there are a lot more things that we can explain, and if these guys are being made fun of, they don't care. They're going to try to find it regardless. So I really, really grew towards that. I really attached myself towards that.
Yeah. That's of course, knowing those guys, that kind of got me into that show. Being there before, I kind of know how the production is and how it's set up, and one of the ones that after a couple of episodes, I refuse. I won't watch Ghost Adventurers. I don't like their style. The main thing is you never know what's out there, and if you antagonize something that you don't know what it is and what its capabilities are, that's not a good recipe. Because if they happen to find something that has bad intentions and they go antagonizing it, they're not going to be able to show that on television, I don't think. So but yeah, I mean, that was a good one. Another one that was more reality based, that is probably even older, and you might remember this one, you might not. Unsolved Mysteries. Yes,
I do.
Yeah, it had that creepy music going to it, and then you had the guy with the almost the Ben Stein voice that starts narrating and tells you what's going on, and yeah, that was like, oh wow, that's all right. Now, not all those were paranormal, and not all of them were like ghost based, but still creepy enough. I would lump it in there. But I mean, when those two other shows like serial TV shows.
Yeah.
And there's so much. It's a wide category, whether it's a actual TV show or whether I guess regular TV versus cable versus like I don't know, even more on how graphic things can get. But yeah, even now, like with Netflix, they have different warning levels of hey, this is this, and you have to put it out. They put it in between each show. I don't know. What are some of the shows that you remember that you enjoyed watching?
So I got into, and this is probably the most iconic one that if we're going to think of this genre is Supernatural. Supernatural is the one that I got into the most. And most people would say like Charmed. I mean, I think we could add like Buffy into this, even though it's vampires, it still had to deal with ghosts on occasion. But Supernatural was the one that I got into because it was the one that I was like, okay, well, at least it's a ghost show. There's one that I can't remember what is it. Medium? No, it's Ghost Whisperer. It's Ghost Whisperer is the one that I was thinking of. Also, Ghost Whisperer is another one that I was thinking of. But
yeah,
Supernatural, yeah, that one was the one that I watched when I was younger. Binged it, finished it finally when I got older, and was like, all right.
Yeah. So, hey, just wanted to mention real quick, we do have some new people to the chat. Don from the Escape Pod is in the chat. Ro, founder of Red 5 Network, is in the chat. It's great to see you guys. Thanks for stopping in. But had to bring back the classic Unsolved Mysteries. Robert Stack, that's the guy's name. Yes. I was like, oh man, I know it wasn't Ben Stein, but he had that gravelly voice, that just deep and that resonates, and it's like, oh,
impactful
all right.
Voice, impactful.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, man, I know I'm a little older than you, but yeah, I remember Charmed. Holly Marie Combs, Shannon Doherty, Alyssa Milano, and Rose McGowan. Come on. Yeah. I mean, that was the dream right there. It's just, man. Yeah. And then Ghost Whisperer, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes.
Come on. I mean, let's go. Yeah. But yeah, there were so many of them. American Gothic is one. I believe that was on Netflix. Medium you brought up was an interesting one. I know that she was a medium that worked with I believe it was Phoenix Police Department, and she would go through and help them solve cases week after week. And, let's see. Now here's another one. Now I guess this would be ghost-ish supernatural. It was on Netflix. It was called The Good Place. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yes. What's her name? Kristen Bell?
Kristen Bell is in it. Ted Danson is in it.
Yes. I did watch that. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was so every time that they wanted to cuss, it was another word was entered in. And hey, Luna Girl's here, and Tina. All right. See, I knew it was going to be filling up. And Dragon Buddy. What's going on, brother? But yeah, I mean, there was so many American Horror Stories on Netflix. I don't know, chat. What are some of your favorite TV shows that featured ghosts or paranormal? Man, I know that when I was a kid, kind of was in a sheltered house, and they kind of tried to protect me from that kind of stuff and don't dabble with. They were big, don't play D&D
Yeah.
because that could lead to different paths. Don't play with Ouija boards. Don't do that. Don't watch the ghost shows. But it was still there. Um, but let's see if anyone, no one's mentioned Ghostbusters cartoon. Sure, yeah. The Ghostbusters had a cartoon. Was it Slimer and Friends, or was it just Ghostbusters?
No, so I think you had Slimer and Friends, and then you had the real Ghostbusters, which was the good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Luna Girl mentioned Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, those types of shows. I mean, I should get one of my kids to come in, and they'd probably rattle off like 50.
Yeah.
What was Miss Peregrine? Series of Unnatural Events. That was a movie and a TV show. It's a TV show on Netflix with Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, yes.
Was in there. But I know a lot of them were mentioning Supernatural. I watched about half a season of that, and then I just kind of fell off. I don't know. I think there was too much backstory that they're trying to get into. I'm like, oh, just get to the good stuff, and but Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom was good. I will defend that one. That was a good cartoon.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Winchesters, which is the sequel of the, or is it sequel or prequel?
It's a prequel.
Prequel, right?
Is it? Who's watched it? Is it good? I haven't started it yet.
Dragon Buddy says Winchester's got him. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many ones that even on the more creepier side, where you have Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, which is, there's, I guess, a trilogy. I think there's supposed to be another one coming through that is to conclude that whole storyline. But I mean, there's you can have your fun-loving shows. There was another one. I can't remember. I put it on my list last week to watch, and it's like a guy that's walking through, he's in his house, and there's like 15 different people that are in the house, and they're all dead and having interactions with this guy.
Oh,
and,
is it
I can't remember. It's like all throughout history, and then they're all in this house, and they're all giving him like life advice and things like that, and it just goes totally bonkers. I mean, I don't know. Would you? I know it's not necessarily ghost, but paranormal. You have to go with Stranger Things.
As the most iconic, I'll say, of recent is Stranger Things. I guess you could say that it's kind of ghost activity, like when they're in the Upside Down reacting to our world, especially with the lights from the first season. So you could say that that's the most iconic for Supernatural. But then would you go Supernatural? Because they're...
You'd have to.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was my first thought was like, oh, it's like superpowers, but it's really not. It goes more into like ESP and telekinesis and those other powers that are there. So, I would have to classify that as paranormal, which falls under the ghost umbrella.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because it's basically like just a show talking about the MK Ultra experiment for anybody who likes conspiracy theories. And that's
Right.
just paranormal in itself. So of course, Stranger Things would be one of the more iconic things. You have that, you have Supernatural. I would say The Haunting of Hill House, because when it first came out on Netflix, it got a lot of people. It got me very bad. It got me. So I'd have to say that Stranger Things is kind of, and I believe that they are headlining Hollywood Horror Nights this year at both parks.
Yeah.
So I believe that they're supposed to have a giant event for them. King Boo from Mario.
Yeah.
King Boo from Mario.
So, Steve, you've only seen the first season of Stranger Things? Is that what I'm understanding? It's not too late. Before the next one and the last one show up, you could easily get caught up. Once you start watching, you'll get hooked. Ghost Files. I don't think I'm familiar with that one, but here, let me write that down so I can check that out, Megan. Thanks for the comment. I'll have to look that one up.
From YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. For anybody who does, there's a channel I would recommend if you like semi-weekly content. It's Nuke's Top 5. Definitely a very good platform for ghost videos entirely. That's all he does. Nothing more.
Awesome.
Who has time for TV?
All right. Right. Well, I mean, Steve's a busy guy, and plus he's got, comics and all the punk music and all the movies and everything. Yeah, I mean, it kind of gets hard to keep up with everything, but
I'm only
like a lot of this.
I was gonna say I'm only laughing because I feel the same way. Like, I'm so backed up on going to the movies. The only one I'm making sure to go see opening night is Oppenheimer. That's in the last 5 months.
That's tonight, isn't it?
I thought it was tomorrow.
Or is that next week?
Tonight's the midnight, but tomorrow I'll go see for the first day.
Right. But yeah, I mean, there's just there's so much that's out there to try to catch. But yeah, I mean, there's so many TV shows, and we just barely scratched the surface. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna play our next song, and then we're gonna talk about ghosts and movies. So our next song, if I can hit the right button here. Next song is from a band called Kill Me from Seattle, Washington. It looks like that this is Incapacitated, I'm guessing. I don't know why Steve picks all the hard songs to pronounce and puts them on here when he's not here, but I believe that's what it is. Kill Me with Recapacitated came out June 15th of 2023.
Static is our soul.
that was recasipit. Hold on. That's the name of the song right there. Recapacitated. So yeah, yeah, good song. It's a driver.
Yeah.
It has that 4-chord repeat, just power chord. But yeah, all right. So that was TV. Now on to movies, and again, we're going to separate this one a little bit versus So you have the wide range of things here. So first, let's talk about like more comedic movies that feature ghosts in there, or ones that are, I guess, not necessarily jump scare or horror type or anything like that. So I have some that are written down that some might not think that they're ghost related. So I'll start off with one of those. 1989, Field of Dreams. Ghost story or not?
Oh, it is. It is a ghost story. It's 100% a ghost story. I mean, but it's a good one. It's
right?
not scary.
Yeah.
It's meaningful. Oh, especially because we're in baseball season. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my.
So I
one of
mean,
my
I was
favorite.
like, oh, do I put that one down or not? But overall, yeah, I had to go with it. Other lighthearted ones that I have, Casper,
Okay.
1995. My kids love it. I liked it. I thought it was good. It's got Devin Sawa, I think is how you pronounce his name, who was later in another supernatural movie that we'll talk about. But he was the kid that played the live action Casper. He was Casper before Casper, I guess.
Yeah.
The alive version of Casper.
Yeah.
But Ghost, which Nicole mentioned, is another one that's more of a lighthearted ghost type thing.
Their clay looked like my microphone. I'll just say that. That's all I'll say.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
I know the iconic scene where they're making where he's helping her mold the clay, but that's a that it actually is. It is a ghost story. That's why.
I mean, other than just the name, but
Yeah.
yeah, I never really got into that one. I don't know why. I just thought it was weird. The whole love angle type thing, and yeah, the whole pottery scene just to me was cringy. But yeah, then we can on to 1984. Was possibly one of the greatest ghost movies ever made. Spawned off several sequels. Ghostbusters. Not only was the song catchy, not only was it funny, there are some parts that are downright creepy.
Oh yeah.
The whole gatekeeper and keymaster golems coming to life. Gozer scared the crap out of me. I'm like, what in the world is that? That was pretty crazy. But I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. Here's one that I missed: Meeting Joe Black. I guess that's more of a drama though than a lighthearted one.
Yeah.
That was that Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins, I believe, were in that one. But yeah, that's a good one. Um, Beetlejuice, another
Beetle.
comedy.
That one still holds up today. I will defend
Oh
that
yeah.
one 100%. That one's gonna hold up today. That one's perfect. So when they changed their faces, that's the movie that got me. That's the movie that scared me when I was younger. Is
We'll get
extended.
to my. Yeah, we'll get to mine in
Yeah.
just a minute.
Oh
Mine's more
no.
on the realistic side.
Oh no.
Um, let's see. Modern Coco.
Okay. Yeah. Because of the Day of the Dead festival.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was kind of a, you could say that was a uh, movie.
Yeah.
What about it? Chat? Any other light-hearted type ghost movies or paranormal movies that you could think of?
So DJ,
While they're typing.
I don't have exactly a
All right, go ahead.
lighthearted,
What?
but I don't have a lighthearted, but I have a comedy. And that's
Okay.
the Haunted House series. A Haunted House, the quote unquote found footage with one of the
Oh,
Wayans brothers. So
yes.
it is Ghost, but it's more for a mature audience. It's hilarious. It's a little bit lighthearted because it's not intended to be scary. Oh, okay. I saw the original Haunted House with or Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy.
Um. See, I thought that was I didn't put that down because it's not out, or I didn't think that one was out yet. Did they have one before?
So
Because they're doing
the
a new
one,
Haunted Mansion.
yeah. So the one with Eddie Murphy came out in like 2006. It came out early.
Oh, okay.
That one's a little bit more wholehearted. The new one that comes out Friday? Tomorrow?
Soon.
Tomorrow? Or next week? Tomorrow or next week, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's
But yeah,
with
I was looking on
Ahsoka.
that one. That one is actually, I guess, more of the based off of the actual house that's at Disney World and Disneyland.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see that one. But I mean, then conversely, you have movies like 1980, The Shining.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The shot. Yeah. Is that the one that got you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, even before then, 1959, and Tina mentioned it, Haunting of Hill House. They've actually remade a couple of times, but 1959 was the original Haunting of Hill House. I believe Vincent Price was in that one. Yeah, that was pretty intense even back then. The one that got me was made in 1982.
Okay.
Called Poltergeist.
Okay. What's that one about? I've never heard that one.
You haven't? All right. So Poltergeist, a family builds buys a house that's been built on, I guess, a burial ground. And as they start to move in, they start to see that their strange things start to happen. And like there's a section in the kitchen where she could put the daughter down on the floor and she is slid across the tile. And, you turn around, all the cabinets are open. You turn around and all the chairs are stacked in like a pyramid on top of the table. And things just start escalating from there. And then one night, like the little girl is like, hey, they're I can hear them, they're coming, something like that. and they're like, "Oh, just go back to sleep." And and she's in front of the TV, and it's all the white noise snow that old TVs used to have, and she
Oh, now I
touches
know
it
what.
and disappears. Yeah,
Now
but
I know what you're talking about. I was never allowed to watch that being younger and growing up, so I've never seen the Poltergeist. So that's why I was a little thrown off. I've only seen the memes and everything about it, but I've never seen it.
yeah, they're
Oh,
here. Yeah. Um,
oh,
but what got me about that movie was there was a scene in there where their son is asleep in his room, and there's a thunderstorm going outside. The wind is blowing. The tree is scratching against the window. The lightning flashes, and he looks over in a chair, and there's a clown sitting in the chair, one of those little puppets or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And he throws a blanket over it, and then it flashes again. He looks, and it's gone.
Oh no, no, no,
And
I'm good.
and then it's like he gets drug under the bed, and he's getting the crap beat out of him by this clown. And then the window shatters, and the tree reaches in and grabs the kid. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Oh no, no, I'm
Yeah,
good.
I'm
No,
done.
no,
So
no, I'm
that's the
good.
one that got me. My uncle was babysitting while my mom was at work, and he decided to let me watch that. And
Oh,
so 1982, I was 7.
oh, okay.
So yeah, that really, yeah, that one got me. But there's so many that have been made. Whether it's the Warren movies like Annabelle and
Oh, the Conjuring
Conjuring,
series. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Even before that, there was I believe Shannon Elizabeth was in one called 13 Ghosts, and I was
Yes.
like, wow, that was pretty stuff. There was another one called Ghost Ship, which
Oh, yeah. The
there,
wire.
yeah, yes,
Oh, the
yes,
wire
and it just,
scene.
oh man, yeah. But there's The Haunting has been was another one made in 1963. They made 2 or 3 remakes of that one. Um, there's just so many. Hey, Danny jumped in the chat. Hey, Danny, how are you? Um, there's one that came out in 1999, and it possibly had the biggest plot twist that of any movie almost up to date. Haley Joel Osment was in it.
Oh,
You know which one?
I know what you're talking about. I see dead people. Oh,
Yes,
oh my
yes.
God.
So iconic that it. Watching it, it had me. I was like, oh wow, all right, this kid's seeing stuff, and yeah, he's going there. He's good. Wherever he goes, he sees these things, and he's talking to this psychologist. And who would have thought that Donnie Wahlberg, who caused this to happen? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, that was a huge one. Danny mentioned one. The others, Nicole Kidman was in that one. That was I think 2001. That was in there. Yes,
Then
yes.
We have like the Sinister series. That's one that got me good. That one about the children.
Mm,
That
yeah.
one messed me up. Paranormal Activity, I have a little bit funny story about the first one. So me and my brother, that was when we first learned how to like download movies off the internet. So we watch our my mom. She told me, "Hey, I don't want you watching Paranormal Activity. It's gonna freak you out. You're not gonna sleep. I already know you." So we watch it the next day. And the final scene at the end of Paranormal Activity, when she attacks the camera, her teeth are all messed up and she just scares it, got me. So later that night, I'm sleeping, and I guess like I fought in my sleep and I knocked like all my pillows and all my blankets off. So I'm laying like this, and I could feel something moving around me. And I look up, and it's my mom looking down at me, but it's pitch black. All you see is the hair. So I'm like, oh no. So I throw my hand, she grabs them, and I start screaming. I'm like, please, I'm sorry. And my mother goes, hey, what happened? Why are you, what are you doing? And I go, I watched the movie. I watched Paranormal Activity when you told me not to. And she said, that's your fault. That's what you get. She's going to come get you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So-
Another one that much hype, and it was really one of the first ones to utilize pop culture and social media to spread the word of the movie, and that was Blair Witch Project.
Oh man, I always look back at how they marketed that movie. At the time, I understand like the internet hadn't been that big yet, but for people that were older in that time, like you, DJ, how did you guys feel about that? The way they marketed that movie and how it came out?
Everyone, at least around my age, was like, "Oh, it's got to be a joke. There's no, there's no way that it's going to make any sort of money." And it's like, I just thought it was just a goof. And then that was just lead up to it coming out, and then it came out, and then everybody went and saw it. Like, everybody had to know, what is all this stuff that we've been seeing? What is this stuff that that you hear about? And it's like, oh, it's a true story. And then the way that they did it with in segments and releasing bits and parts of it, and what seemed like actual news articles, and I was like, it's like, so it was just absolutely crazy. And then you see the movie and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you took my money. It had so much potential. And I guess it did what it set out to do. I think I liked the sequel better than the first one. But I think I'm in the minority there. But yeah,
I've never seen the sequel.
Oh yeah, Book of Esriver, which is reverse.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's and you didn't understand anything until at the end they play it backwards, and you start to piece everything together. So, yeah, but for how much it costs to put it out there versus production costs, and I think Ro said it. Where was it? Yeah, biggest profit margin error ever. It made so much money in the theaters and cost little to make it and little to advertise. It was all word of mouth. So, but yeah, I mean, there's so many paranormal type movies, and then I won't credit The Conjuring or Annabelle or The Nun or any of that, and I'll get to that in our next segment. But yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, it is time for the next segment. So let's play our last tune. Our last tune is called is from Achings. They're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the name of the song is Undoing Home, off of All These Shapes, All of These Days, which came out this July 14th, 2023. So enjoy Achings. All right, that was Achings with Undoing Home. Good song. It's haunting, I guess you'd say. She has a unique voice, and I think there's a little echo effect in there, and it just kind of really set the tone. I enjoyed it. I liked all three songs tonight. So, but oh yeah, since we're talking about it before we get to the last part, so this is made out of cardboard. You can see kind of the creases and stuff like that. but I had the patterns um, that I had downloaded from our Mandalorian Merc site, and before I started with the actual hard plastic, I wanted to test out the patterns, make sure it fit,
Yeah.
and just try to get used to working with it. So there's a Mandalorian helmet.
I like it. I like it. I really do. It looks good.
So come on, stay over there. All right. But yeah, it starts off, it's just cardboard. Like this is just the dome of one.
Oh, okay.
So this one's going to be my Bo-Katan helmet once I'm done with it. With that part, but yeah, it should be interesting. So we're at that time of the program where we answer that all important question that we started with. Are they real? Yes, there's lots of different versions of ghosts in pop culture. And we didn't even talk about books or magazines or stories or anything that the master Stephen King has put out. But I think I'll let you take this one first. Um, what do you think? Do you think are ghosts real? And you can supply stories, anecdotes, evidence, things like that.
So I'll say, unfortunately, ghosts are real. I have experienced a few things in my life. Probably the first time I ever experienced anything like that, I couldn't comprehend what it was. My mother, on the other hand, she was so young and she had to experience it for the both of us. Was We used to live in an apartment on the south side of town. Well, for a while, everything was fine up until I started approaching her every night. And I'd go, I can't sleep. I don't want to sleep. And she would get mad at me. She'd say, you'd have to sleep. You have to go to sleep. And then one night I peeled my eyes and I could see a little boy at the edge of my bed. And so I got out of my bed, calm. I walked out and I said, I can't sleep. The little boy at the edge of my bed keeps taking my cars. That was my thing, Hot Wheels. That was the thing I love the most. So she goes and she says, "There's no way. There's no way. Stop. You're just scaring yourself. No, no, go." And so it got to the point where I would wake up with bruises or with indentions of the little Hot Wheels, to the point where daycare was approaching her and they'd be like, "Is everything okay? Like he has bruises. Like what's going on?" And she's begging and pleading, like, "No, it's fine." And I keep telling her, "There's a boy. There is a little boy, and he is getting more aggressive. He doesn't want to share them. He's taking them out of my hand. I sleep with them because he won't let me have them." So my mom sends me away with my grandmother, who lives in the middle side of town, and she's like, "Take him for a week. Just take him, and we'll see what goes on." She had a father come in, walk around the house. He gave her a little plastic rosary, and he said, "Put this in the middle of his mattress. His arms are too little. He can't grab it." So she goes, this is the middle of the week. I have not been home. She comes in one day. All the doors in the apartment are open. All the cabinets are open. She walks into my room. On top of a little pile of Hot Wheels is the rosary. She said, and every time we talk about this, we've we've had people approach us about this story, is the sound of her heart just breaking when she cries and she says, "I didn't know what to do at that time, but all I knew is to get us out of there." And how her voice cracks when she said that. Yeah, it was right there on those cars. She didn't bother touching my room. She had to have my uncles come in and take everything out. When she left, she still was like, "I have to figure out what happened." A elderly woman lived across from us. Lady loved me. She goes, why are you guys moving? And my mom goes, well, there's just things that we can't explain that's going in there. And she says, she pulls my mom inside, comforts her, and tells her a little boy had passed away in that apartment before you came in there. He was beaten by his father, and then his father ultimately went to jail. And so she goes, I never assumed that anything would happen in that house because it was a little boy, but clearly there are things that are angry. And to this day, we've had people that we knew get that exact apartment and leave a month or two. We haven't even told them. We want to know for ourselves if something's still wrong, but people can't stay in there. And that's my first experience. I was little, but to this day, I can still vividly remember that little boy's outline at the edge of my bed. And I'm like, no, it still gets me good.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. And our chat is full of, agreement here that a lot of people have had experiences that they can't explain. I guess, I mean, not really much anymore, but retired paranormal investigator with a couple of different groups. I've seen things that I couldn't explain. Now, I'm not saying that, every house and every story is true. 9 out of 10, you can explain.
Yeah.
Whether it's some sort of weather phenomenon, whether it's an electrical field in the house, whether it's a car that's 2 streets away that when it turns the corner, the headlights go into the chandelier of the house and it sends, shadows and light disperses throughout, and it only happens every so often, but that's when you catch it. But I have seen things that can't be explained, even from when I was a kid all the way up to now. I don't know how interactive ghosts are with people in general. Can they be? Yes, but I think for the most part, and there's a lot of different classifications that go into that type of thing on different types of ghosts, and whether it's just energy or an actual manifestation or someone that you might know that's trying to reach you, that type of thing. There's lots of different degrees that are in there. But I think for the most part, most of it is, and I try to explain it to people like, it's a battery. And you yourself, once you start walking a certain path, you build up this electrical energy that is there. Certain people are more subject to feeling that electrical energy, and they will catch glimpses of it. And the more electrical energy that you have as a person, the longer and the deeper that can take, especially if it's been years. A lot of the stories that you hear, for 50 years they were in the same spot doing the same thing, and I see somebody walk through a wall. Like, well, at some point that might have been a doorway. You just see the energy go through. You never know. And I do believe that they're there. I don't know exactly how much or how deep it goes. But yeah, there's definitely lots of things that are out there that can't be explained. So,
and for a lot of people, like with that story, with a lot of people, there's a lot of people that don't believe it. And I'm okay with that because I have the vivid memories. And I tell them, if you want to go ghost hunting, if you want to explore, there are places. There's one place in Lubbock, Texas that got me good that I don't ever want to go back to. And if you ever have like a longer form episode, we'll get into those stories. But with these kind of things, I think people tend to be like, if it doesn't immediately happen to me, it's not real. And the best way I could tell them is, you got to either be super lucky and see something down the hall, or you're going to be super unlucky and not see anything. And with my story, we lived there for a long time. Me and my mother, it was just us. So I was, a mama's boy, and I don't know if that spirit just started being like, okay, he got the life I never got or something. But with just those events, it's either people want the immediate reaction, the immediate jump scare, or they don't believe it. And it just, it is what it is with that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's wild. And I mean, heck, there's places close to us that you could go to.
Oh yeah.
There's some here in Artesia, some in Roswell. That's just, yeah. Lots of different places have lots of different energy. I think in New Mexico, there's a place in Santa Fe that I barely would set foot on the property, much less go inside the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, ghost stories, I got tons of them, or stories. I won't necessarily call them ghost stories. One of the ones I remember the most is I was in my 20s and working at a nightclub as a bouncer, barback type thing. Yeah. And they ended up shutting the doors, and it was in an old theater. And I was one of the last ones to leave, and for the final night before they locked the doors for good. And it was like, hey, go make sure everybody's out. And I'm like, okay. So went through the front entryway, in through the old theater doors. The seats were taken out down there because it was transformed into like a nightclub thing and concert venue. And I'm like, hey, you know what? We're trying to leave. Come on, come down. And I'm looking, and up in the balcony, there's a person. And I'm like, who in the world is up there? And so I go down, and I'm like, who's up there? I can clearly see it. And as soon as I get close, I'm like, what in the world? All right, hey, fun and games is over. Come down. So I went around to where the door was to access the balcony, and it's barred shut. No one could get up there. And I turned around, went around the curtain on the stage, and looked up in the balcony, and whatever it was, turned its head and looked at me, and then stepped back in the shadows and was gone.
Oh, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. I am, no,
Yeah. So, and then I walked back up, and they're like, is anybody in there? Nope, no one's in there. Let's go. But
no.
It doesn't really freak me out. But Megan's got a good point. Maybe we should do this. We can tell ghost stories around Halloween time. We'll have to get there. I've been there. That's Fall River, Massachusetts, for the Lizzie Borden House. Gettysburg, definitely, I've been there. But yeah, little bit over here. But hey, Donovan, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this topic. Next week we have, I guess we'll call it our cryptids. Are they real cryptids episode? So we'll talk Bigfoot, Mothman, Chupacabra, other things that aren't necessary, Yeti, and talk about those type of phenomenons, and we'll get there. Make sure you hop over, listen to WSTR Radio after us. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all that came in the chat and talked with us. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the support, and have a great day.
All right, later.